Big Black Rainbows, team captain and Solar Phoenix and content creator. I'm here with EQE, top lane Cuddlebum, and mid laner Sam Wallace. How you guys doing today?
Good,
Not too
yourself?
bad.
Doing good, doing good. Well, first off, I want to say congratulations on making playoffs. You guys kind of had a up and down season with good highs and really low lows. But nonetheless, you guys are here, so congratulations on that. And I want to first ask how you guys came together as a team and why you guys feel you're fitting together so well now that playoffs is over.
Um, so if people have been following EQ, which they probably weren't because they were probably more paying attention to the storm, um, they would know that our original iteration of our roster wasn't very strong. Definitely would not have made playoffs with it. So about halfway through the season, I would say I think we're around like 3-6 or something. We decided that we needed to make a couple changes if we want to succeed. So what we did was we we got rid of top jungle support and ADC later on. So we found other players that we thought were more capable of helping us achieve what we wanted to do, which is win duo, obviously. And now that we've all come together and we've played for a while, I think we fit pretty good together.
Do you have any thoughts, Cuddlebum, on it?
Uh, I ended up joining 5 games into the season, and there were a lot of communication issues when I joined. Um, I had found out that Dan was originally the top laner. He ended up going to jungle, so he was kind of quiet, just like how naturally all top laners are. So as we got further throughout the split with the team, we actually ended up having a lot of confidence issues and having some problems with again the whole communication aspect of it. After we started playing together as a team, we just everything started clicking. Uh, Other than that, like, no, I don't know too much about the team history.
That's fair. All right. So you said that Dan was the original top laner, and he's kind of quiet, like you said. Um, so then, when you're in game, who does a lot of the shot calling and like team decisions for objectives and stuff like that?
Um, Usually it depends game to game. We we tried different um formats for shot calling. Like we first tried, hey, let's just have like support jungle do it, and then we tried whoever like has the lead, like if it's top mid ADC or jungle, like they'll call it. Then we tried ADC jungle because Dan's been talking a lot more now, and our ADC has a great grasp of the game. So really we don't have like a main shot caller. It's just kind of whoever sees the best opportunity, and we're really good at like following up with it.
Okay. So a follow up question to that, specifically for Cuddlebum. My team obviously has Jadway, who's very good at split pushing, so he does a lot of split pushing shot calling, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, are you kind of the same way where you kind of like, I know you had the Urgot game that you fucking destroyed on, um, but do you enjoy split pushing? And if you do you kind of help with that shot calling by chance?
Uh, I find me and Jodway have the same tendencies when it comes to top lane champ pool and top lane, um, I guess mindset. I am more or less the split pusher. Uh, it really depends on the team comp because sometimes we'll run a team fight where again we have that Urgot game. The entire team will play around me and we'll control the 1-4 towards more or less my side in the split push. We'll have other games where we've also had scrims against you guys, and Jadway has completely ran over me to the point of where I'm playing the 1-4 in more or less a defensive aspect, and I'm waiting for the teleport call. So it
Yeah.
all depends really if I get ahead or not. I find if I get the lead, then the 1-4 is particularly ran by me.
Okay.
I'm calling a lot of the objective control. I'm telling more or less the team where to go. However, again, it all depends on that lead or not.
That makes sense. Yeah, because top lane's kind of an island, so it's all dependent on you
Oh
to
yeah.
get that lead. So that's understandable. All right. So with this being your guys' first season in duo, how do you feel you did as a team compared to what you thought you would do coming into the season?
You go first, because I got something.
Um, I kind of came in blind to this. I knew Hard Only for Bard for previous years, and he told me that you're walking into essentially a shotgun shell. You're coming into this, and it's just gonna blow up. Mm. So I wasn't really too prepared with what I was coming into. Um, we had a few losses at the beginning when I joined, and it kind of ruined my confidence a little bit. Then we started coming in into a lot of these games with just a lot of quick and proactive team fighting and very good shot calling and starting to have our confidence back just naturally as a team. So I didn't expect us, no offense when I say this to anybody in EQ, I didn't expect us to make playoffs. I really didn't. We've had up and down season, like the entire split has been up and down. We'll go on a 4-game win streak and then we'll lose the next 6. Like I didn't expect too much of it. However, in scrims, we're dominating the complete lower half of both divisions. And then when we go into scrims against PSB, Pawn Sacrifice White, we're keeping the games close until the final fights.
Yep.
So I have high hopes for us in playoffs. It will be very interesting and it will be action packed, that's for sure.
Okay, I love that actually. A nice, honest opinion. What's your take, Sam?
So I've been here the entire season. So when we played our first 4 games, we ended up 1-3, and this was the original iteration of our roster. And I had no hope. I thought we were last place to anyone. Thought it was terrible. Then we brought in support. We brought in Bard and we brought in Mark or Cuddlebun. And then things started to like turn around a little bit. We actually had a win versus EQS. And then I was like, okay, maybe we're all right, because they weren't like, that's before they started like plummeting. So I thought like, okay, maybe we can have a shot at 4th place, which we did actually make. But I think that expectations at the beginning of the season were actually really low, at least from my perspective, and I think everyone else's. It kind of sucks that we have the roster that we have now at what point in the season that we got it at, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Because I think if we had this roster the entire season, we could be fighting for 3rd, 2nd place, or even in the other division, we could have been like now top 2, top 1. So it's so I think with this roster, I definitely like expected us to make playoffs, but before, absolutely not.
Okay, that that makes sense a little bit because, like, not to dog on you guys, but your first roster was like, in other terms, like kind of weak, so to speak. But now, like this roster, you've had really key games like against us. You've had key games against, I think it was Pawn Sacrifice White you beat, if I remember correctly. And like those were pretty important games for you guys to not only make playoffs, but to like show the rest of the league that you guys are here to stay and here to like actually compete, which you guys are successfully doing. So yeah. Next question. In terms of your team, who would you consider the MVP for the split?
Still a question.
Yeah.
He, he's in the call.
Cuddlebum? Okay. Alright.
Yeah, by far Cuddlebun. For our team at least.
Do you have go ahead.
I have a bit of an objective to that. My recommendation would honestly be Bard.
Oh.
I feel
That would be
that
second. That would be second.
like he's picked up so much more of a role than just player in game. He's done a lot for the team outside of the league itself too. He handles a lot of our analytical standpoint of it. Um, we also have a coach as well who does a lot of the essential programming for the team. Um, he's the reason why I kind of started picking up these different type of top laners. My champ pool was not set to like face any of these guys like Nano, Jodway, An amazing time. I, who's the other top laner for PSB? Tate.
Yeah.
I my champ pool was not made to fight them. I was a tank player before I came into this. My first few games in duo were Maokai, Ornn. I picked up Set very early on. It wasn't made to fight the top tier top laners. So I think because of how our coach Logan, how he changed my champ pool and how I kind of looked at that, it gave me a little bit more carry potential
Mm-hmm.
and took a little bit of the weight off, say, Sam and Yillian.
Okay. That's really nice, really nice. So now we're gonna move more into the spicy questions to get you guys' opinion. First,
Boy.
yeah, first question is gonna be the latest iteration of the community pot rankings came out, and you guys were listed as 7th, but you moved up one spot. Um, with your current roster, do you think that's an accurate representation of where you guys actually are in the split this season?
I think that we would actually surprise a lot of people of how good I think we are. I think anyone outside the org probably doesn't really see us as like a strong team, but I think that we should be higher by like 2-3 spots, maybe 4. That's how I would see it. But I know we had was it an on off day versus like SMU and Fight Club when we had them in the same day, so we took
Yeah.
2 losses.
No,
I think that really hurt
Galaxy
us. But,
Gaming and Fight Club.
oh, Galaxy Gaming and Fight Club.
Uh,
So I think those 2 losses actually really hurt us in terms of like the community viewing us. But it was an off day by multiple members of the team. Our coach wasn't. He came in a little bit late. It was just wasn't our day. So I think the perspective of us is kind of lower than what personally I think it should be. Because I think we're actually a pretty strong team.
Okay. Do you share the same views of Sam Cuddleban?
yeah, I think on a good day for us, I've noticed like our first game of the day, just as a team, we never win. Like we can go into scrims against or literally the bad version of Fight Club, and we went into scrims and we were down 20-2 in kills within like 20 minutes.
Oof.
Our first game of the day was always really bad. We've been trying to work on that as a team, and it's getting a lot better, thankfully, because these best of ones in duo, they hurt us so much. And with the playoff format happening, I believe it's a best of 3, right?
Correct. Yes.
So the best of 3 gives me a lot of confidence with our roster. It seems the further the games go throughout the series, our team just keeps getting better and better. So it's almost like we need one game to kickstart us, and after that game, we just roll over people.
Okay. All right. So that's a perfect leeway or segue rather into the next question. With playoffs being best of 3s, you guys are going up against PSP for the first playoff of the series. So, do you realistically expect to beat them, and if so, how and why?
I think it's possible. It's a lot more possible than people probably think. Because
Okay.
our match versus PSB, our last game of the season actually, because Midnight dropped out of the league.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had a really good early game versus them, which I think is their weak spot. So I think if we can have the same impact early and then snowball it, because I think we made 1 or 2 bad choices or decisions, and we lost. The game came out of our hands that way. But I think if we snowball properly, that we can definitely beat them.
Do you share the same idea, Karuban, of your mid laner?
Yeah. I'm gonna be facing a new player in top lane, so from what I heard, Tate is not playing in playoffs for PSB. I have to face an amazing time. Um, I feel our early game against them in the best of 1 or whatever regular season, it was really good. We just had a bit of communication issues on what like objective control base. So I think after we clear up those issues, just as a team, we need to work together and just decide what is the right call. So I think we could take a best of three against PSB. It will be close. I have a feeling it'll be 2-1 down to like the final wire kind of thing. Um, I am not disrespecting PSB at all. I think they are an amazing team. Obviously, their record proves a point, and they're not a team to be taken lightly at all.
I fully agree with that. I think PSV has been like the staple of duo for some time now, and for good reason. Um, so now, is there anything like flame wise or just like in general that you guys kind of want to have the rest of the server see that like maybe takes too much time in chat or else or something else like that you kind of want to like get off your chest at all?
Sam, you go.
Um, there's nothing that I want to say that won't get me in, like, have everyone fucking blowing my DMs up. So I'm not gonna do that. Um, I just think that I think everyone sees EQE in the wrong way because I feel like people look at us and they're like, just another mediocre team like Aether and Darkspark. But I think that we're something a team that people should look at and be like, okay, like these guys, they can definitely win a lot of games
Okay.
versus top teams.
Okay. All right, let's hear yours because apparently you have something good.
I feel like a lot of the top tier teams underestimate us. Especially, I found, again, no offense when I say this, I think Jodway kind of underestimated me in the best of one. So, I think Jodway is the #1 top laner. I'm gonna throw that out there. Since even before we even played against you guys, I was looking at a lot of the top laners, and that's again why my champ pool had to change. Jodway, Nano, those two were running people over. I was watching games from the Duo Esports stream, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to be able to compete these guys, or at least in the 1v1 bruiser matchup. I had to make some changes personally, and, well, it's how the game went. Scrim's totally different. Totally different. I give Jodway the respect that guy deserves. Other than that, like, I think Pawn Sacrifice White was a little overhyped. I think the team is
I can
good.
second that. I can second that.
The team is good. There's no doubt about that. But I think people comparing Pawn Sacrifice White to Black, it's night and day, literally.
I honestly think
Was that a pun?
Rift Drag. I think I honestly like this is gonna sound so troll, and people are gonna fucking flame me for it. I think Rift Dragons is the best team in the league. I think Rift Dragons is the second seed from the other division. I think they are the best team in the league.
Are you
Like
saying
as of now.
are you saying that because of the brand new roster they're bringing into playoffs?
Yeah, we actually scrimmed against them.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
I think they are the best team in the league over
Okay.
PSB. It's close. It is very fucking close. I think it goes Rift Dragons, PSB, very very close. Solar Phoenix, and then I mean
PSW probably fourth.
I put us fourth than PSW. I think that's like actually like super close though.
Okay.
That's just my I mean bias maybe.
But I think if I'm with Pawn Sacrifice White, I find with Omari in particular, if he's having a great day, Pawn Sacrifice White is easily second best team in the league.
Is Omari PSBs?
Yeah. Omari is PSP.
Oh, okay. Omari for PSB, sorry. I thought he was on PSW. Anyways, if he's having a good day, PSB is first, second team in the entire league. But watching some of his videos through Twitch and like just his gameplay in general, he's kind of got a tilt factor I've noticed. And he has the I want to make a play mentality, which I mean, we're all under Diamond. We all have that mentality.
Yeah,
But
that's the truth.
he'll try and make the flashy play, and it doesn't work. and I've watched him in games against us in particular. He can get burned for it, but again, that's all of us. We will all try and make that play. I've done it. Sam's done it. We've watched Solar Phoenix do it. Like we all try and make it. So
Yeah. I'm gonna give a little insight about the Jadwe game that you mentioned earlier. So
Yeah, I want to hear.
yeah, so my team loves to flame everyone, not like hard flame and like actual toxicity, but like we soft flame everyone. They love flaming me. So since that game, Jadwe has caught a lot of flame because like we joke that he's never lost lane in duo, so to speak. Because split push, you just kind of AFK split push and take the tower, and it's over, so to speak.
pick Fiora.
Yeah, pick Fiora and run it down. But like that game is the game that myself, fucking Pablo, our support, and a couple others, and they're like, Jado, you gotta lost that game like hard. And then his comeback is always, we were even in lane. I was ahead in CS. He teleported bot lane and got 2 kills, and I couldn't do anything about that. And I think that's where like other teams kind of really shine is like, yeah, like Sam, you might go even or might have 1 death in the mid lane, but like you make a good rotation or you do something well on the map, and then like all of a sudden you have an Urgot or you have a LeBlanc or you have a fucking Syndra that's like one-shotting everyone at that point. And that was like the moment, I think. If I don't remember the whole game, but I remember that moment where you teleported bot, you got the double kill, and I think you picked up Drake after that, and then Jadwe on his Camille just like couldn't do anything to you, and then you proceeded to like literally run it down on our team, and then yeah, it was sad to watch, but yeah, he's caught a lot of flame for that game, that's for sure.
No, he deserves respect.
Yeah.
He definitely deserves respect.
All right, so these are gonna be the last 2 questions I'm gonna ask you guys. They're gonna be kind of different, so to speak. So, what was your guys' favorite moment from your team this season? And then what was your favorite moment overall for this current season?
Favorite moment overall? Beating you guys.
Oh!
There was so much hype behind this game because no one really expected us to win.
Yep. Okay.
And
Shano called it.
Yeah, it was such a confidence boost, and it honestly probably went to our heads a little bit, but it felt so good to beat someone who
Good.
Yeah, because we had all our scrims against like the bottom tier teams per se, and again we were winning 2-0, 3-0, 2-1, whatever it was. But we hadn't really beaten a top tier team. We faced against Galaxy Gaming. We went 1-1 in a scrim. We went 0-2 or at the beginning of our season scrims against Pawn Sacrifice White. Like we weren't expected to win it. And when we came flying out of the gates, it felt good but went to our heads.
That's fair. I think like not necessarily you guys, but like say if like Fight Club beat fucking I don't know GGD or Soul, like that should be a big confidence booster no matter what, because like you're taking on a top tier team, you're obviously the underdog, and then you like come out and smack the fuck out of them. So like yeah, that's rightfully deserved to be a great confidence booster. Sam, what's your favorite moments for this season?
I think mine, I don't have like a specific moment because I enjoyed the season pretty much through the whole way. So I guess my favorite moment in the season was when we got like the new roster, because I was like I was going from everyone running it down every single game, even myself. I was playing so bad. I had like an 06 Galio game. I'm like, what?
Oh boy.
So probably when we got the new roster, I was thinking like, shit, we can actually win games. That was probably my favorite like moment the entire season, because that brought all my motivation back, and like I was confident again. I was like, okay, like I'm gonna start putting in time, the work. We're scrimming a lot now. Like it's just that was probably my favorite moment throughout the entire season.
Nice. So last question here. What's the biggest oops you guys had this season?
You're explaining that one.
Biggest oops.
Yeah.
It has to be our off day when we went 0-2
0-2?
versus
Okay.
fucking GGD and who was the other team?
Fight Club.
Fight Club, yeah.
Yeah, like we could have I wish if we had that day back and we had like a normal day, I think we win those games like pretty convincingly.
It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, no flame to either teams. They're both okay, but I think we beat them both. So that's probably our biggest oops of the season. Other than actually, I got a better one.
Ooh,
So
okay.
old iteration of the roster. I missed a day of practice, and this is when I was the team captain, and pretty much I ran like almost everything because we didn't have a coach or anything like that. So I missed a day of practice. I come back, they're telling us that Yasuo Jungle's OP Wukong. So we have a game versus I don't even know who it was versus, but our jungler was like, "No, I can carry this game if you pick me Yasuo Jungle," and I was like,
"Oh my god!"
So we had a Yasuo Jungle, a Wukong top, then Dan, or at the time his name was Hasbin Hotel. He he decided to level 1 fight a Darius as Wukong. And I was like, what the fuck is this game? So that was
boy.
I'm so glad I wasn't on this team.
Oh my god, that's actually the game after we brought Cuddle in, so I was like, I'm nope.
Yeah. I actually have a funny take on that. I'm gonna get to you, Cuddle, but I'm gonna say this first. So I had a team in what used to be called Commonwealth Esports League that Seaver used to run, if any of you guys remember him. And we were undefeated, kind of like PSB. It was the last game. It was the championship game for playoffs, actually. We were up 2-0. It was best of 5. So we were like kind of trolling because the team that we were against had like a really fortunate but not deserved route into the finals game. And so we were like, fuck it, let's just play some random shit. And so we had Jadway at the time. He played Teemo top. All right. We had a random, not necessarily random, but a well-known friend in the jungle, and he's like, yo, since we're trolling, can I just play Yasuo jungle? And I was like, fuck it, why not, right? So he played Yasuo jungle, and I don't know if any of you guys know him, but we had Egg is Me, or better known as Fire the Fox, in the mid lane. And he was like, wait, let's play Lee Sin mid. And I was like, oh god, here we go. So we played Lee Sin mid, Yasuo jungle, Teemo top. And then our ADC, Killjoy, who some of you might know, he was like, we don't have any AP, so can I just play like Ryze ADC? So we played Ryze ADC, and then our support played like Galio or something that wasn't like necessarily troll, but was kind of troll for the team we were running. So our team, like I said, was Teemo, Yasuo jungle, Lee Sin mid, Ryze ADC, and Galio support. And we stomped. Like, it was, they had, I think, 2 kills over a 17-minute game. And what we found out was that Lee Sin mid, once Lee Sin and Yasuo get 6, it's actually kind of pog, because you could, like, literally just flash ult someone as Lee Sin, and then Yasuo wait in the bush, ult whoever it is, and then, like, they die instantly. It was hilarious to watch. But I'd never recommend that. Never.
If I see Yasuo jungle in these games, I swear.
Just instant rage quit. But yeah, so back to the original question, Cuddle, since you joined the team, what was your, like, oops, or not necessarily your oops, but, like, what was the oops moment that you remembered from the season?
You know, I gotta agree with Sam. It's that off day. We played the early game, the mid game, the late game perfectly, and then just it was one fight in both games that we shit the bed.
We all messed up. There's one fight. What was the fight? We had one fight. I forget which team was versus. I think it was Fight Club. We literally were stomping them the entire game. Well, actually, I think it was pretty close. And then we had one fight like in our base where we almost won the fight, which we could have ended the game off of, but none of us used flash.
Yeah.
Every single person on our team had flash up.
Yeah, I can't remember what the team comp was, but we ended up having a team fight down at the bottom inhibitor turret. And Yeah, we ended up just getting clapped in this 5v5 fight. And then at the end of the fight, I'm looking at a beautiful green screen and I hold tab. I see 5 flashes are up.
Oof.
I just, I had to. I'm the type of player that if I see someone die with flash available, I have to ping it. I am that guy that pings it. I don't care if you're my team, solo queue, what.
He's not wrong.
And oh my lord, it was kind of a tilter, but I mean it was funny at the same time how none of us flashed. So, but I think the real oops thing, Fight Club. Um,
Oh, okay.
every time we scrim them, it is just a stomp. Every time we scrim them, and no offense to the team, they are good. I just think the macro play and their map play is weak. Other than that, all of them know how to play their lane correctly. All of them know what to do when they have an advantage. They just don't know objective timers. That's all it is.
Okay.
I think if they clean that up, that team is maybe a top 5 team either side.
I honestly think Tyler from Fight Club, their mid laner, I think he's the best laning mid in the league.
Interesting. Okay.
I
Okay.
think he's the only mid laner that whenever I'm playing against him, I'm like, okay, like I gotta be on my A game. Even like Totemax, like he's not the best laner. Maybe because he's playing all these scaling champions like Kassadin, Victor, Cassiopeia.
hmm
But I honestly think that the Fight Club's mid laner is the best laning mid laner in the league.
That's a hot
If
take
it's
and
not
a
me.
half. Yeah. Okay. All
No,
right.
I don't. I mean,
He
I
doesn't
think you
always
could have
walk
a lot
out
of-
with the advantage, but he knows what to do pre-10.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all the questions I have. If either of you, like same, you just gave one, but do either of you have like any hot takes going into playoffs? Like, maybe expectations from either side. Like, do you think, like you said, you think Rift's possibly the best team in the league right now within your roster, but do you see Rift making finals, or do you have any other hot takes or anything else like that you'd like to share?
Nothing's coming to my head right now.
Okay. What about you, Cuddle? Anything?
I'm excited for playoffs. This is my first split with Duo, so first split with EQ, and I think it'll be pretty interesting. We are probably the quote unquote worst team coming into playoffs, just based on record, and I feel a lot of teams are going to underestimate us. Maybe after seeing this, they might not. Who knows? But I think the PSB matchup in round 1 that will be a per se a playoff shaker, and it'll completely change how the rest of the team looks at either team.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
regardless of result, I think that we're gonna surprise a lot of people.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear. All right. So, like I said, that's all I have. Thanks once again for joining. I appreciate you guys taking the time for this, and once everything gets edited and stuff like that, it's gonna be great. I hope you guys enjoy.
Thank you.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep. See ya.